It's really wonderful to have Rick Leggett, former deputy director of the NSA, with us in the Cipher Brief studio. And Rick, I just have to pause quickly to welcome you back also to the Cyber Initiatives Group, which is that group of experts, of course, that has just incredible experience on cyber and tech issues. It's nice to have you back and nice to see you.
Well, thanks, Suzanne. It's great to see you too, and it's really nice to be back. I appreciate the warm welcome.
Yeah, of course. You were one of the first people I thought of this week when I saw those headlines, like everyone else did, about DeepSeek,
Mhm.
this Chinese AI model that initially was feared was just as good as ChatGPT, but really could function at a quarter of the cost, mostly coming from energy, for those people who really understand sort of the amount of energy needed to run AI models.
Mhm.
I'm curious, Rick, from the national security side, what were the issues that were popping out the most for you as this news was breaking? And what are your concerns around this?
Yeah, I think that for me, first off, is that China is in charge of this, and
Mhm.
if anyone believes that the Chinese government doesn't have their hands in this, they haven't been paying attention for the last decade. They absolutely do. They absolutely have access to the information that people are putting into DeepSeek and to the results that come back. And so, if you think about it, it's kind of an elegant way to do intellectual property theft. So that basically people are giving you their information to run on your machines and getting the answer back, and you get the raw information and you get the answers. So it's a very efficient way to do it. The other thing is certainly the personal data that the system harvests, and if you look at the privacy rules, there really aren't any. It's very vague and it's very imprecise in what they say, and so your data is not really your data anymore.
Mhm.
Um, Another thing is the Chinese intelligence support law that requires Chinese businesses to provide whatever support the state does. It's very different from the American version where we can ask for assistance and they may or may not provide assistance, but we can't compel them without going through a lot of legal hoorah. The Chinese system is very different. A minor bureaucratic functionary can direct companies to do things and can actually impose pretty severe consequences on the company if they don't. So, to
Yeah.
include putting people in jail.
Mhm.
Um, so all those things I think are reasons why I think the Navy's guidance that came out last Friday was really good, where they said we don't want you to use this, not even on your home computers. And I think that would be hard to do in the civilian world to say I don't want you to do this on your home computers. But I think if you look at the reasons for that, it makes a lot of sense to me. Um,
Yeah,
you
it,
know,
it feels like we're approaching. Well, we're already there. Just a lot of us aren't really aware that we're there yet, but we're at this point in time, Rick, where the technology, like, it's not just the technology alone anymore. It's who's developing the technology, who's getting the data, who's sharing that information with whom. I mean, these are things that users of this information have never had to think about before. If you had some advice for people in your family, your close friends, about how to think about tech maybe differently than we used to, what would that advice be?
I mean, I think the nation needs a privacy law. I think we need a law that provides some structure as opposed to the patchwork quilt we have of state laws that vary quite a bit. Um, Probably the most impactful one is the California law, the CCAR, I think it is, something like that,
Mhm.
that governs privacy. And I think once we have that, then we can dive into what that means for individuals, and you can opt in or opt out as you choose. And people should have that choice. You know, I personally don't care a lot about my personal information because there's not much of it. There's a lot of it that's already out there. So I don't worry about that as much. But lots of people do worry about that. And so people ought to have the ability to do that.
I think there's also sort of like a lack of understanding about why that's a big deal because we put so much of our own lives out there. I mean,
Mhm.
the Facebooks of the world, the Instagrams, like whatever your platform of the day is, you willingly put that out there, not really thinking that someone might be using that data in a way that's not other than the way it was intended to be shared. That
Yeah.
mindset, without making an entire nation of people paranoid, just on sort of a simple education piece. Do you think people need to be more aware before they put stuff out?
Yeah, and I think there's space in this discussion to change the way that we do end user licensing agreements. When you download a piece of software, you have to click that say I accept, and like 99.9% of the people just scroll down to the bottom and click
Don't
the
read
button
it.
that they accept. I've done it, you've done it, everyone's done it.
Yep.
And that's because these are written by lawyers for lawyers, and so they're 55 paragraphs long, and the part you care about is broken up between 2 or 3 paragraphs, and it's written in language that most people can't understand. And so you need to distill that and have a 1 paragraph summary that says, here's what this means. That would be something I think would be really useful for people to have, but we don't have that.
Yes. Completely agree with you on that.
The future of national security is here. Introducing the Cipher Brief's NatSec Edge Conference, June 5th through 6th, 2025 in Austin, Texas. Join leaders from intelligence, defense, private industry, and investment as they explore the innovations shaping tomorrow's world. Gain critical insights, connect with top minds, and shape the future of security in an interconnected world. Don't just witness the future, be a part of it. Secure your spot now at natsekedge.com.
All right. Any takeaways, or what do you think in terms of what comes next in the tech race? This was a bit of a wake-up call, I think, certainly for the stock market, certainly for those who might now be looking a little bit more aggressively toward efficiencies in other AI models. What do you see for the future for AI models out of this news?
Yeah, I mean, you have to differentiate between your AI models. You've got your Chat GPT, the large language models that are big, all-consuming, and hoover up information and train on it. And then you have more tailored models that are designed for specific purposes. And those are actually pretty effective. You get fewer hallucinations with the specific models. You curate the data more carefully. You feed it only data you want. You don't just grab everything off the internet and feed it. That also helps you avoid biases in the resulting model. And so I think that the future of AI is really good for the smaller models. The larger models, I think, have their place, but those are the ones that people get all upset about, where they talk about Skynet and the AI taking over the world and killing us all. Sure, that's in the realm of possibility, but it's way out there. The more useful aspects for all of us are going to be the smaller, more tailored models.
So you're not really worried about the robot overlords that, I mean, we joke about it, but like people say that all the time. Like it is this fear that
Yeah.
AI, and it would be AI that would lead the way on this, is going to overtake human thinking. And you think we're way off from that.
I do. I mean, people fear what they don't understand, and the overwhelming majority of people don't really understand AI, and so that's going to come with time. And I think actually entities like the Cipher Brief have a role in that, in helping educate people on AI.
Well, thank goodness we have people like you to come to and have teach us the things we don't know, because there's a lot I don't know. Rick Legend, thanks so much. It's so great to see you again, and welcome back to the Cipher Brief.
Thank you so much, Suzanne.